no. Let me say this one. Let me say this one, bro. This is a big one.
You stink.
You stink, bro. Hey everyone, I hope you guys are doing good. Welcome back to another video. I feel like it hasn't I know it's only been a week since we recorded and posted, but I feel like it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Feels like it. But welcome back to another video. If it is your first time, my name is Giancarlo.
And I'm Naisha.
Super excited that you guys joined us today. We're really excited for today's video because we are going to talk about
Relationships.
relationships, specifically red flags.
Mm-hmm.
Like what red flags,
To look for.
Yeah, there you go.
What red flags to catch if you're trying to get to know someone, or if you are in a dating relationship. What are some of those red flags you need to watch out for?
This is our personal opinions, what we think are red flags. If you don't think those are red flags, it's totally cool. Again, this is our opinion. We're not a perfect couple. We don't know who the perfect person is. Again, this is just what we think. And we just hope that, this will help you if you're looking for someone to date. So if you haven't yet, guys, make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, share the video, turn on your post notifications when we post. We post every week. We haven't missed a week, have we? No, we haven't missed a week. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started.
Alright guys, so for this video, we're going to split it into two parts basically. The first part is going to be red flags to look for when you're just kind of getting to know them, seeing if you can potentially date them. And yeah, some of those red flags to look for. And then the second part of this video is going to be red flags to notice if you are dating someone already, and catch those red flags. Because sometimes you're dating and you might be oblivious to those red flags. So, and again, these are just some of the red flags that we think are red flags. So it might not be for you, but yeah.
So, if you are looking for someone, a boy or a girl, boyfriend or girlfriend, one thing that we believe is a red flag is if they are not honoring their parents. So what does that look like? They're disrespectful towards their parents. They hide things behind their parents' back. They talk bad about their parents.
That's a big one.
Yeah, you just know when someone's not honoring their parents, and you want to make sure you have someone who honors their parents, especially if you're looking for a guy. How well does that guy treat his mom? How well is that relationship with his dad? You don't want someone disrespecting you behind your back.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're disrespecting their parents, there's probably a high chance that they're going to disrespect you, and not honor you. Exodus 20:12, it says, "Honor your father and your mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you." That's definitely something that I believe we, as young people, older people, you should always try to honor your parents, even though there's a rough relationship. And I don't know what it's like to have a rough relationship with my parents, and I will never know what it's like. But I believe you can always choose to honor your parents. It doesn't mean always being with them or doing something kind for them. It's just not disrespecting them, or just even praying for them. Praying that they'd be safe. So.
Okay, so the next one is not having a relationship with God. 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, "Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness? Or what fellowship has light with darkness?" And so we believe that in a relationship, y'all both have to follow Christ above anything, Out of that flows everything else, a relationship, marriage in the future.
It's difficult because one person believes in one thing and the other person doesn't believe in what you believe in. It's just going to be a little bumpy road.
And also, a lot of people, I feel like when it comes to trying to date, finding a person, they're like, oh, but I can change them. I can tell them all about Christ and they're going to accept it later on.
Me personally, it's just why play with that fire, Why struggle with that, Unless you really feel called to that person. Who am I to say, that person's not for you?
Right.
But it's just a battle you don't want to fight because you want to make sure they honor your morals. You want to make sure they honor what you believe in. For example, sex before marriage. Not having so many girlfriends. All those type of things that God commands us to do. And if they don't follow those commands and they're not a believer of those commands, or just the life of Jesus, it's going to be a little frustrating as you do life with them. So the next one is a red flag to us is someone who is very flirtatious. Someone can be bubbly and very joyful and outgoing, but flirtatious, someone always touching someone else or being Oh, you're
like
cute.
always having an intention behind the way like they are around you, like trying to purposely make you know, like make it known that hey, I'm flirting, like hey, I like you. It's even a bigger red flag if they do it with multiple people.
That's what we're going towards, with multiple people.
With multiple people, like if it's a guy, like he's always kind of flirting or has this flirtatious kind of acts towards like all the girls, and you notice it, and all the girls are like, he flirted with me, oh, but like he kind of flirted with me too. And it's the same for girls. Some girls be doing that too, and that's just like, for us, it's like, no, because when you meet that person later on that you would want a serious relationship with, they're not gonna feel special because you flirted with all these people and you did those type of actions with everyone.
It's gonna confuse them.
It's gonna confuse them. Like, do you really like me, or because I saw you do this with everyone else? So like, you know.
You know, like always hugging, like, hey, where's my hug? Messing with them, you know, like, you know, those typical flirty things. You're looking for someone, you want to feel secure. Like, you know what? I know this person loves me.
And not just with like physical. Like sometimes like just little comments that they throw here and there, like flirtatious comments, like. Oh, but where's my girl at? You know, like, and like they do that with like multiple girls. It's like a thing. Red flag. Number 3 is having bad company. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, "Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals." And for this one, we're talking about friends. We're talking about the people that you surround yourselves with. If you're trying to get to know someone to see if like you could potentially date them, and you see that they're surrounded with friends that they're not fruitful, they're not encouraging that person that you're trying to get to know into the things of the Lord. They're like rather doing the opposite, like, you know, leading them into temptation and leading them into like other things. They say like you are who you hang out with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like examples, like if you like, you're interested in someone and they're skipping class, or they're partying out every weekend, they're getting drunk, you know, or they're doing mischievous stuff with other people. If you're interested in someone, really look at their friends and just see how they act and see how they talk, you know, things that they do. And so if they have bad company, you know, show me like Anisha said, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. You don't want to be associated with that, because it's a lot easier to pull someone down than to pull someone up. So just make sure their friends are good, and make sure their friends are, you know, sharpening each other. Iron sharpens iron. Make sure they're motivating each other. Make sure they have the fruit of the spirit. So yeah, you want to make sure they don't have bad friends, because if they had bad friends, then it's going to be a part of your life. So the next one we believe is a red flag is gossip. Always talking bad about others. I believe we've all gossiped. Like,
at some extent.
We've gossiped so many times.
It's so natural, you know, like you don't, sometimes you realize, sometimes you don't. Some people like it, like, oh, tell me the tea, or, you know, like it's kind of like a natural thing.
But if they're constantly gossiping and putting someone down behind someone's back, like it's a constant thing, you're like, bro, shut up. Like, you don't want that around you, you know, you don't want someone talking bad about someone. There's life and death in the power of the tongue, so you want to make sure that tongue is, you know, speaking life, not speaking death. So definitely gossip is a great way to ruin a relationship. A great way to ruin a relationship and just ruin your character. It just looks bad on you. So you want to make sure that the person you're looking for doesn't just gossip so much.
And I want to read this verse, Ephesians 4:29. "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful or building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." What comes out of your mouth like reflects what's in your heart. So it's just, they're not uplifting others, and how do you know they're gonna do that? They're not gonna do that towards you.
Also, it just shows how two-faced that person can be.
Which leads us to our next red flag, which is two-faced. Someone who acts differently around certain people, and then another way with other people. It's just they don't have the same character all around. Like, some people have stuff to say about them, other people have other comments. Like, it's just like they're different. They're not.
Yeah, it's just like you want to make sure you don't like someone who is one way in front of you and a completely different way behind your back. For example, say you're a Christian girl or a Christian guy, and you're talking to the dude. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a Christian. You know, I go to church. You know, I believe in God. I worship. I study the Word." The next thing you know, you see an Instagram story. You hear from his friends that, you know, he's either getting drunk or he's the opposite of that. You know, so that's what we mean by two-faced. In other words, you don't want someone who's fake. You want someone who's real, you know, in front of you and other people.
When you're like trying to get to know someone, this is like personal. Like, if you're trying to pretend to be someone you're not just for that person to like you, eventually when you guys date and the real you comes out, like they're gonna be like, this is not the person I fell in love with. This is not the person I like met or like you know, started liking.
Yeah,
because you were two-faced. You were a completely different person just for them to like you, and you weren't even real with yourself, real with that person. And then it turns out like he's dating someone or she's dating someone that they don't even know for real.
You can only keep it up for so long because it's like you said, it's not you. So again, you don't want someone who's two-faced. The next one, I want to be very careful with this one. We believe a red flag is someone who is not healed. But what we mean by not healed is just like someone who is not mentally or spiritually ready to date someone or to be in a relationship. Not healed from their past traumas. You know, they haven't gotten their relationship with God right, or they just got out of a breakup and they haven't took that time to properly heal and focus on themselves. That's what we mean by not healed, because you don't want to start dating someone and to bring like all that baggage, you know, and to bring all that hurt towards a relationship, because it's gonna affect them. You know, there's a time for everything, and I believe God will give you that, you know, that word and that peace, like, you know what, son, you know what, daughter, it's time for you to go. You know, I'm not saying you got to be the perfect person, so please be careful. Like, please understand what I'm trying to say. If you know you need healing that's gonna hurt, you know, the other person, or they haven't been healed, you know, think about it. Is it gonna hurt me? Is it gonna affect me? You know, if they're like depressed, you know, that depression's gonna rub off on you. If they're not healed from something, maybe they're just not ready. Doesn't mean they will never be ready. If they're just right now, you know, they're not ready.
The next one is someone who is lazy. So, and then parentheses, he's not or she's not independently caring for himself or herself. Like someone who is lazy, like not wanting to work, not wanting to, like they have this laziness like in them that they just like, they don't want to do anything.
As a man, you want to provide, you know, as much as you can. Not everything, because you can't give everything to the person you love unless you got a bunch of money. Then shoot, you want to provide as much as you can. You want someone who is able to work, who wants to work, to provide for the person they love. You know, buy them a little gift, buy them a flower, buy them a piece of chocolate, whatever it is. If you're looking for marriage, how you gonna pay the bills? How you gonna pay the water bill?
If he's lazy now, what, like that tells you a lot about when he's in marriage or she's in marriage.
Yeah, or is he gonna help you clean? Is he gonna help you cook? Does he clean up his own room? Does he wipe his own nalgas? For guys, you know, we want to make enough money so they wouldn't have to work. But from the beginning, if they're just sleeping all day, napping all day, you know, not going out, you know, to maybe, I don't know, just do something. All they do is sleep.
Be productive. Just find ways to be productive and do something that's gonna better yourself or better the other person.
At least want to make some sort of money, you know, because let's be real. You need money to live in this world. We have a drive, you know, we have goals to, you know, buy certain things and live a certain way and, you know, stuff like that. So just make sure someone who has that drive.
And, like, don't get us wrong, like, everyone has their lazy moment. Like,
yeah.
I really today, I don't want to do anything. And it's perfectly fine because I have those days, like, every now and then. But when it's, like, an everyday thing and they don't want to get up and they don't want to, like, work towards y'all's future, that's another thing. If you're dating, like, we believe that we date to marry. So if you are dating and you have you see a future with that person, you have to work for that future. Like, what are you doing? Like, napping all day and, like, being lazy about it, you know? This next one is when someone has aggressive behavior or tone, bad tone. They're prideful, they're controlling, they're selfish. Like, there's, like, a bunch of things that goes into this one, but, like, just, like, negative attitude, negative tone, negative actions.
You just want to make sure you look for someone who has the fruits of the Spirit. You want to make sure that someone shows love, kindness, gentleness, patience. You know, you want someone who does their best to live like Jesus. You know, that's the best example. You know, I always try to live like Jesus. Do I always hit the spot every day? Nope, I do not, because I'm not perfect. I'm not Jesus. But you want to find someone who loves like Jesus and cares like Jesus and sees through you know, God's point of view. You don't want someone who, you know, you have a disagreement with and they start throwing things, or they start, you know, maybe even hitting you. You know, you don't want someone to just, okay, they got hurt, they start ignoring you. You know, they're not communicating, stuff like that. And you want to make sure that they have emotional stability as well. Guys, we got emotions too. We get emotional too. You know, we get angry all of a sudden. We get annoyed all of a sudden. And you gotta learn how to control those emotions and be like, you know what? I'm gonna take this down. I'm gonna shut up and just chill. So you want to make sure someone has emotional stability. If they don't have emotional stability, it's not worth it because they're not. You don't want to have to baby someone. No, let me say this one. Let me say this one, bro. This is a big one.
You stink.
You stink, bro. If you got bad hygiene, if that person has bad hygiene, they're not well groomed. I understand some people don't have enough money to fully take care of themselves the way they want. So like that's understandable. You know, but if there's someone you know who has enough money to shower and put deodorant, floss, brush their teeth, like again, this is just our opinion, you know, because you don't want to kiss.
You may be into that.
Yeah. Oh.
We are not into that.
Yeah.
That's like.
Yeah, like there's times like I always tell Nasha, I'm like, Nasha, if my breath stinks, you gotta tell me.
There's a difference between your breath stinking because you have bad hygiene, or your breath just stinking because you ate some bad food. Like you recently ate. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. Like the bad hygiene, like not taking care of like themselves to like be presentable.
Yeah. You want someone who's clean, you know.
Oh, this goes with the earwax too. If they are not cleaning their ears.
That's like her thing.
Bye.
You pointing at me?
No, I'm saying if they see that. Like,
Oh, I was like, girl, I clean my ears every day.
No. So yes.
Yeah, you don't want someone who.
Like you want someone who takes care of themselves.
Yeah. Se arreglan, you know. They get ready for the day, you know, not just in. They wake up from the bed and they're wearing the same thing that they wore to sleep.
The whole day.
Pajamas. They got that bed smell. They got that cama smell.
You're big on this topic.
So now we're going to talk about red flags when you're in a relationship. And the first one we're going to talk about is if your partner is alone with the opposite sex. Like, there's no need for you to, you know, go have coffee with them, go have lunch with them, you know, on
Movies.
a daily movies on a daily basis, because that's not your partner. And one thing I always tell Nisha, you go out with this person, you know, alone. And what if my friends or someone from my church or someone from my family sees you with that person? What are they gonna automatically think?
That I'm cheating.
That you're cheating, or who's this person? You know.
Yeah.
But if they're your cousin or your family member, do it. Your sister,
Yes.
go do it. That's family. But if it's just like a opposite sex who's like a best friend, it's like no, your best friend's gonna be the person you're in a relationship with.
Okay, the next one is not respecting boundaries. This one's huge, and by boundaries I mean anything, whether it's physical boundary, you know, like you know what leads you into temptation. So like if you set a boundary, and they're not respecting that, they're like, no, like let's not. It could go like as big as that, or a simple thing like, hey, like I have this boundary where at this time, this is my quiet time. I want to have my Bible time. And they're not respecting that. And when they don't do this in a relationship, like this is all going to reflect in marriage later on.
Even when like they want to go have girl time or guy time, you know, I love my guys, I love my bros, I would love them, and they will always be in my life. If Nasha didn't respect that, oh my gosh, I'd be like.
I kind of joke around with him. I'm like, you're going without me, but then no, like you go. You know, he needs his guy time.
Yeah.
It's a more bigger thing when it comes to physical. You know,
yourself.
You know yourself. You know, people are different. Like a kiss may not be a big thing for someone, but for a person, that leads them to like want to do other things. And if they communicate that to you and they're like, hey, like this, like kissing this way makes me like it tempts me. Can you please like not like push me to do that? And if they're like, girl, like it's just like, you know.
If they see that you respect that boundary, you're gonna see how much more they're gonna love you and how much more open they're gonna be with you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The next one is.
Oh yes, bro. Yes, bro.
Secretive.
Yes, bro.
Lying, hiding things from you, not being completely honest.
Yeah, if they had your phone, if they had their phone.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's like little things like that you might be like oblivious to or like not notice, but dude, I notice those things. I'm huge on that, and I'm like, what do you hide? Like, what do you have to hide? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Next time, like, if you have a boyfriend, like, hey, can I go through your phone? see what they say. I told Nasha, I was like, you want to go through my phone?
Yeah.
She's like, no. I said, go through. I'm like, go through it. She's like, no.
No, I'm like,
I was like, bro.
Because I've joked around, like, I'm like, what are you hiding? But like, he's like, girl, look through my phone. I'm like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, if he's not secretive, he's not hiding things. Like, I know I can trust him. So because I trust him, like, I don't have to check his phone. You know, he doesn't give me reason to.
Next one. Oh, this one too, bro. Oh.
It's you.
Bad money habits when you're in a relationship. Because, you know, your goal later on is, I know people have different opinions on this. They want to move in before they get married, or they want to, you know, move in after marriage. You know, we're a strong believer of moving in after marriage. But if you see that they have a bad spending problem and they don't know how to control their money and they don't know how to say no, they don't know how to control themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, what happens when the bill comes when y'all living together? What about groceries?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, is she the type of person to always buy something every time she goes out? I don't know if you want to share, you know, how like you learned.
Yeah. And also, again, like, no one's perfect. This is a bad habit that you can definitely turn into like a healthy habit if you really want to work towards that. For me, I grew up not really like worrying too much about money. Like, I didn't, worrying is not the word. Like, I grew up kind of like not thinking it's a big deal, or like not think it's important to save and stuff like
She
that.
just wouldn't worry about how much she was spending.
Yeah, like I wouldn't like spend too much on clothes or anything, but like if I wanted to buy food today, I would just like buy my food, you know. If I saw a cute shirt, I would buy it, you know. And I didn't see the importance of saving until I met Giancarlo. And the reason why I say that is because when I met him, I was like, oh shoot, like I'm dating him to marry him, and like marriage, like we don't want to get an apartment, we want to buy a house, and that's a big thing. And so we talking about that, we were like it kind of hit me more.
It's just like I would notice like the things that she would buy, and just, you know, how she would talk about money, and I'd ask her, hey, you know, how's your savings? You know,
I'd be like, oh,
how's your credit, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you gotta ask those type of questions, you know, because we're adults now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not kids. Money problems lead to relationship problems.
Yeah, I learned a lot thanks to Giancarlo, because I learned that, like, I was like, and now every time I go to like around or like the stores or something, I'm like, do I need this or do I want it? And like I said, like we said, like it's okay to like
Just spoil yourself sometimes.
spoil yourself sometimes, but when it's like an every week type of thing and you spend all your check every Friday and like you go out and buy clothes, like, you know, so, and again, like it's a bad habit and it's a red flag, but like me, I had that red flag, and then now I consider it green now because I'm like thinking of everything. I'm like,
and I want to say one thing too, for guys, this is just how I roll, okay, and I did learn this from actually one of my friends. When me and Nisha go out, there's times where I don't pay for her. It's just, I'm being honest, you know, and it's kind of hard for me to say it, because, you know, as a guy, you don't want to, like, hey, he paid for this, you know, I don't want people to be like, he ain't a real man, he ain't paying everything for you. It's like, bro, if I paid everything right now, if I paid everything for her, like, I wouldn't be broke, you know, but it's just like,
it's just we have a goal.
Yeah, we have a goal.
And we both know that. So
yeah, and she also makes money.
yeah,
you know?
we're good in money. It's not like we're broke and all this stuff. It's just like we have a goal. We've communicated with each other, like, listen, like this is how much I can spend, and that's like, because I'm working towards that goal for us. Mm-hmm. It's like we're in this together, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, and like if you're a girl and you get mad at that because he's not paying for you like all the time, like I think I pay for you at least 90% of the time.
Yeah, he does.
90% of the time, you know. But if she's like, ugh.
And when you don't, it's like it's that time where you have to pay your credit card and you have like your bills coming up. It comes up at once. So that weekend we go out after he paid all those things, and I know that he's like, hey, like I really can't this week. I got you next week, but this, and I'm like, dude, it's fine, you know. I'm great. So, and yeah.
So guys, don't feel embarrassed if you can't pay for your girl all the time.
So the next one is putting you before God.
Yeah, so like for example, say, you know, me and Nisha are dating and I put Nisha before God. Like, I'm gonna be real, you know, there's one point where me and Nisha were talking, and Nisha was all that I thought about, you know, day and night, night and day. I would be like,
day and night. Sorry. But there are also times where like I haven't had my quiet time during the day and it comes nighttime and he calls me and I'm like, oh, all right. Like naturally I just rather talk to him. Cause like, you know, I want to have that time, and that's when you have to be like, no, that's like you putting that person before God.
You just gotta make sure you love God before you love you know, the person you want to love here on earth. because in the end, they're not the ones who are gonna save you. They're not the ones who are gonna be with you, eternally. They're not the ones who give you true peace, who give you true love, who give you your identity, who give you your purpose. The only person that is God. So to us, we always tell each other, we're like, hey, look, tell you right now, I love you so much, but I don't love you more than God. No matter what. If you're my wife, I don't love you more than God.
I'm like, I love you, but not more than God.
yeah. We had to remind ourselves that, And when I'm praying, I'm like, God, like I know you already know, but I want to remind you, God, that I love you way more than I love Naisha. And if I had to choose between you or her, I would choose you over and over again because you're the one who made me happy. So just make sure they put God before you or anyone else because He's the one who gives you true love. Yeah, a great way to check if they put you before God. When you ask them about, and it's not. This isn't like, oh, if you ask this, you're gonna know. Like a great way to see if how their relationship with God is, or if they're even like trying. Ask them, hey, how's your day? What'd you do today? Listen, did they say, hey, I read the word or I prayed? Listen, if they didn't say that, ask them, hey, did you read or pray today? And see what they tell you. And that answer is gonna be on them. If they lied, then that's between him and God. So that's a great way to check too.
Yeah.
So the next red flag in a relationship is if there are not healthy disagreements. Two different humans who are living two different lives, two different brains, two different emotions. You guys are not going to agree on everything. But if you are the aggressor towards a disagreement, if you don't sit down, put aside your thoughts, your opinions for a little bit to hear them, and then you speak your part without disrespecting their opinion, then if you're not doing that, that just tells you, you're not disagreeing in a very healthy way because you can be in a disagreement and you don't have to leave hurt. I mean, you might feel a certain way, but you don't have to leave crying.
We're really quick on apologizing right away. We're like, honestly, there's been times where like the things that we've disagreed on, I've thought like I did nothing, but I'm like, I'm sorry if I did. I'm sorry if I hurt you because I might have hurt him and I don't realize that. And it's just acknowledging that because you love this person. You don't want to hurt them, Just communicating that like, hey, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and like a healthy disagreement is like not raising your voice and not like being so aggressive and not remembering
the hands or all that.
Yeah, and remember that your way is not always right. You're not always right.
Okay, this next one is not investing in the relationship, aka not making time for you. And this one's huge because if they care about you, you'll see it. And the way they like make time for you. And if they're just putting a lot of excuses like boy, girl, you know what I mean? Like putting the effort. Like you want someone that's going like you feel loved and you feel like, oh my gosh, they're like trying to like be with me. And it's just not like a one-sided thing. Where when it's one-sided, that's just really like it's hard to like if you're gonna stay there, it's kinda hard to stay there because you're putting in all this effort to be with this person and they're not doing the same for you and they rather be with their friends and it's like, okay, well then where's my time with you?
Like an example I would love to give is I love to stay busy. I don't like just sitting around doing nothing. And I feel like I have a pretty busy day almost every day. But once 9 o'clock hits, I'm calling Naisha or on FaceTime. I love playing I love playing basketball. Guys, I love sports. I love sports. And lately I've been playing sports on Tuesdays. And I'm tired, guys. I'm playing for like 4 or 5 hours. But I know that, she's waiting for me. So I call her, hey, I'm still here,
Oh, that was cute.
So yeah, you can stay busy, but there's always room to make time for someone you love. There's always room to talk to them and make them feel like, hey, I thought about you. You know what? A great way to make sure that you make time for someone is when you're working and you're busy, you can just send them, hey, I'm thinking about you. I love you so much. Hope you're having a great day.
When he does that, it makes my day.
Like, that's...
Because I know he's, like he said, he's always, like, doing something. And then I'm just, like, going about my day, and then I receive a text, thinking of you. And I'm like, aw. It's not just, it doesn't make me think that he forgot about me. Or that he's just, like, he doesn't care about me, enough to, like, text me. If he wanted to, he would. If she wanted to, she would. That's it, period.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
The next one is not uplifting or encouraging. With me, words of affirmation are a very, very big thing towards me.
Me too.
Yeah, and I should too. If they're not encouraging you and they're not uplifting you, they're always bringing you down, or like, hey, that sure looks ugly on you, or you're not doing a good job, and they're not saying, hey, great job, I'm so proud of you. If they're not saying any of that type of stuff, or they are saying negative stuff, like, that's not good, because it's just gonna affect how you see yourself. You're gonna start feeling insecure, and you're gonna start feeling worthless. You're gonna comparing. You're gonna feel.
Sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
You're just gonna feel like you're not a good boyfriend or a good girlfriend.
Yeah, and cause like that goes. It's this whole thing. Like if they're not uplifting you, but then you see that they are towards their friends in a way, you're gonna start feeling down. You're gonna compare yourself.
Yeah.
You're gonna be so sad. Like, why are you not giving me those words of affirmations to me? And you're telling this person, oh, like, you're so pretty, all this stuff, and not towards me. You know what I mean? Also, because this is when you are in a dating relationship, if you're not receiving those words, communicate it. Like, if you know that you need those words, and you know that, like, hey, like, this person's not doing it, just tell them. There's been times where, like, I've needed more. During that time of the month, I need more. So one of those months, like, he didn't give me words, and like I was kind of sad. But it's just because in that time I needed more. So I told him after that I learned to communicate more. So I told him, hey, next week I might need some more words, and over communicate those things.
Yeah. And I want to say one more thing about that. Encouraging, like, if they have dreams, bro, encourage those dreams. Like, dude, yes, like, you're gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see you do that. And I share specific dreams with me, and I'm like, can't wait to see it happen. Like, you're gonna do it, and I believe in you. And I've always believed in you. You're gonna keep going. I'm always gonna be by your side, supporting you. Whatever you need, I'll be here for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be supporting you. Unless it's like selling drugs, and I won't support that. But so yeah.
Not bring you close to God, quote, pushes you away. This is when you are dating, like before we talked about, hey, they have to have God, this is like you're dating. If they're not like pushing you towards the things of God and just like taking that away from you, then that's a red flag for us, for sure.
The last one, the last red flag we believe is just bad communication. Just to keep it short and sweet. If you feel a certain way, just tell them. Not in a rude way, but tell them in a very nice, loving, understanding way. Hey, you did this, and you made me feel this way. Can you please not do it again?
Over communicate.
Yeah, one thing, one of our old leaders told us, I don't want to take credit away from him. His name is Pastor Micah. He was like, over communication is the best communication, and it's very true. So always communicate as much as you can, respectfully though.
Or they start acting like down, and you're like, what's wrong?
Oh yeah.
And it's like, well, you did this like last week. Last week? So you've been like on a mood since last week because you didn't communicate to me what was wrong, like when it happened. I was bad at this at first. I would keep it with me. I would like try to ignore it, but then 2 days later I'm like kind of quiet. He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, it's because yesterday or 2 days ago you did this. And he didn't even know. It's sometimes you're not aware, but that's why you have to communicate.
Yeah, because when you hear that, you're just like, what? So yeah, guys, those are our red flags, and again, we're not perfect. It's just our opinions, and our goal is just to give you guys another point of view and to just bless you guys. And if you're young, if you're old, this is what's worked for us. We hope it just works for you guys. And again, this goal is just to help people, bless people, and just share the light of Jesus. Because our goal is to just see life, relationships, everything we do through Jesus's point of view. So we hope this helped you in some sort of way. Share the video because someone might need this. So subscribe if you haven't. Share the video. Make sure you guys put on post notifications, comment, all that type of stuff. And I think that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I have nothing to my words.
Cool. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time, and hope you guys have a good one.
Bye.